You're listening to the Survivor Sweat Podcast with Mike Buchmiller and Russell Rosenblum. If you're looking for strategy articles and just about everything Survivor, head to survivorsweat.com. Now, let's get to it.
All right, welcome back to the Survivor Sweat Pod, coming to you from the Simply Las Vegas studio. Wow. Again, Circa smashed through last year's record field of 14. Insane. Last year, 14,266 entries. This year, they show up with a whopping 18,178 entries, creating a prize pool of 18.17 million. Winner take all, if you're Sean Perry. Just incredible.
Sorry, not that it matters. It's crazy. I'm looking at the one thing here. 18.1 or 18.718, I think.
18,178 entries. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Oh, 708.
So, yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So more money to win. So 18,718 entries. Thank you, Russ.
18 million and change.
It's absolutely staggering, which is why my eyes pop. And I know we were tracking towards it, but those are the actual official numbers.
As somebody said the other day, I think Grandissimo probably took something away from the main. If they didn't have Grandissimo, maybe they actually break 20 million. It's not impossible. And Nick's over there going, I don't think so. Not impossible. Look, I'm not saying it took a lot away, but just because you might have somebody that actually took 100,000 that might have taken another 20 entries with partners in the main. Yeah. On the other hand, what I have no idea of is, did this create just some buzz that maybe people that didn't play the main at all, that did have the money to either play the 100K, now played it, or heard about the 100K and were like, I don't have 100K, that's crazy. Oh, you know what? Let's come up with 5K.
No, you're
I don't know.
You're absolutely right. In some cases, may have taken away, but in others, it may have created the buzz to get to that 18 million
and change.
18,708 and change. Winner take all prize. This thing's getting so big that it's a tongue twister. And the addition, as you mentioned, of the 100K Grandissimo with 69 total entries, creating a winner take all 6.9 million. And I'd have to say that the Circa Survivor contest, they've turned into a huge hit.
You think?
Absolutely incredible stuff.
It's amazing.
Yep. Well, who are we? My name is Mike Buchmiller. Alongside me, as always, is my partner in sweat, Russell Rosenblum. We were the 2022 Circa Survivor champion under the Jed entry name. And yes, we are in this contest. And not only did I survive the offseason, but we actually survived week one along with everybody else.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. There are some people that didn't. I'm going to say this. If you didn't survive week one, you deserve to be knocked out, because I see the teams that were taken there. And I guess if you had multiple picks, maybe you could be on, say, the Patriots. I don't know how many picks I need to take Tennessee or Dallas or even Buffalo. Great team, terrible, I mean, they won, but or taking Baltimore, whatever, who lost. Carolina, the Giants, Detroit, Houston, New Orleans. People took New Orleans. People took Cleveland.
All this to say.
Amazing. Well, what do we say? The over-under was 27.5. Took the under. I think I took the over.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't even close. Dude.
Yeah.
Last year, we had 31 of 32 teams taken. How many this year?
All 32. And as Russ would say,
the 33rd, the no pick.
Yes. So let's recap week one. 573 hit the skids. So only 3.15% of the entire pool has been eliminated through week one, including the 24 no picks.
Yep.
Not the carnage we saw last year.
Nope.
And in week one, the chalk prevailed. Last year, after week one, approximately 40% of the entire pool was clipped, primarily by the Bengals.
Yep.
By the way, who almost took out another 1,321 Circa Survivors. And we would have been
we would have had a couple on those.
We would have had some
sure.
of those, by the way. Not to mention 3 Bengals in Grandissimo. Mm-hmm. And you can all thank the Browns kicker for staying alive.
Yep.
Absolute,
pretty amazing.
Atrocious
pretty
week
amazing.
For kicking. I mean, I guess if you're a Steeler fan, the 60-yarder to win it, and then On the other side of the coin, the Atlanta Falcons.
60 yards used to be like, you never try it, end of the half kind of thing, just for the game winner, which, but now it's like the 70 is the one that you never try, the 68. Like there, 60
it was
is
kicked
just
in
another day.
preseason. There was a 70-yarder.
I know, but I'm old enough to remember when the number used to be like you had to kick 40 or 50% from 40 yards or more to be, otherwise you couldn't make it as an NFL kicker. Now I think you probably got to kick 40% or probably 50% from 50 yards or more, or you're not going to be an NFL kicker.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, Moody already got clipped. He's been 50% since I think it's like the last 12 games. His field goal percentage has been 50%. You just can't.
But that's across the board, not just from 50 yards plus.
Yeah, no, of course, across the board. So, well, other than the 32 teams that were picked, was there any takeaways, any surprises or none?
I have a question for you, Russ.
Sure.
As the resident Miami Dolphins fan in
Legacy, yes.
How hot do you think Mike McDaniel's seat is right now?
Oh my God, it's really funny because you're dealing with a guy that great sense of humor. Like when people have seen him, he always handles the press well, handled the team well. That works when you're winning, and when you're not winning, it looks like you're just not taking the job seriously, right? Sure. And it's totally unfair in the sense that he's the same guy, he's the same coach, it's the same thing he always was. They like it at one point. They don't like it. It becomes results oriented, right? Yeah. And it's funny because Miami had high expectations going into last year, and this year they really don't. They didn't, and they won't continue to. So I don't know, but I do think he's on the hot seat. But I don't really think, personally, I don't think he should be on the hot seat. It's too soon. It's too early. They've had issues. Tua can play great or get hurt. He probably should have retired the multiple concussions just as a humane perspective, not as a perspective of a football
We
fan.
were saying that on the pod 2 years ago.
Yeah, that he should have retired.
Yeah.
And so you're dealing with a spot where if he did, I don't know if what's better or worse for Mike McDaniel, if you're going to look at this from a completely self-serving point of view. If Tua retired, he probably buys himself more time in the sense that the expectations are even lower that he's missing.
Sure.
Now the expectations are theoretically higher, and it's possible Tua doesn't finish the season anyway. And if that happens, then I think he's going to probably be gone. But who do you replace him with? Like, this is the thing. Like, you have so many retreads in the NFL. It's so difficult sometimes to be able to really tell who is not a good coach. It's usually easier to tell who is a good coach. There's the constant argument, is it Belichick, is it Brady? Is it Belichick, is it Brady? Even the people that say it's Brady, very, very, very few of them say, and Belichick sucked. Right? They're just like, without Brady, he may not have been able to do as much, but sure, he's a great coach, but maybe he's not the best coach. Like, you can have those debates all day long. Yeah. But nobody says he's terrible. Like, clearly he was a great coach. He had a lot of success in general, and he had success before he got to New England. So I think it's difficult. I do think he's on the hot seat, but I think if he gets let go, somebody else probably picks him up. Yeah. I don't know what they pick him up. Maybe goes back as coordinator and then moves back to the head coaching position. But again, you see the constant turn of these people.
That's a great take. The internet is saying the exact opposite. So I'm glad that.
What are they saying? He's fine.
It was like the Nick Sirianni thing last year. He loses 2 games, fire his
ass.
Yeah. So you actually having a good take like that is contrary to what the internet is.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, it's tough because each team, are at different stages, and when you have skill players, skill players such as Tyreek Hill.
I was going to say, there's a perfect example.
You're expected to win. Tua, Hill, they have a great running back over there. Their number 2 wide receiver, Waddle. But, they're just, if they're not built right, if they have offensive line issues, if defense is kind of underperforming, then, the public sees Tyreek Hill and thinks they should win. Mm-hmm. And, he's a big personality over there. So 100%. Now you hear him squawking in the media. And
right. Well, last year, it looked like he was done. He was mailing it in. He kind of didn't care anymore. And now it's still unclear to me to what degree. And look, great player, been great the whole time in his career, but he's getting older. And at the end of the day, it matters a lot. I mean, it was a good friend of ours, Martin, that said one year to us, he was tracking NFL running backs, and he was saying that, and Adrian Peterson happened to be one of the few exceptions. It was at the time we were discussing it. No matter how good they are, it's almost universal at the age of 30. It's almost exactly 30. Like 29, they could be great, and it's very rare that they're great at 31. Usually right at 30, it just falls off. And so you're going to have similar with receivers, especially if a receiver is based so much on speed, because they're going to lose just a teeny bit. And you also, it's human nature. He's getting paid a lot of money. He may be competitive, but if he doesn't think they're likely to win, how much do you want to put yourself out there? like literally put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, especially as you get older, you get smarter that way.
Especially when you have 10 kids too.
Well, that we know, at least 10 kids. Give the guy credit. There could be 15 or 20. Come on.
So at 4 p.m. on the Survivor Sweat X platform, we post the percentage predictions of where we think the public will land, along with our selections for the week. For those of you that are riding along with us with a piece of Grandissimo, that's when we're going to reveal our selections. I had a few people DM me saying, hey, who am I rooting for? Yeah. And Russ is going to give you kind of a background as to the reasons why.
It's an awkward spot. I mean, we want to tell, like if we had taken the Thursday game, which we did not, of course, if you got an investment, we want to tell you we're on Thursday so you can root for it. Problem is that telling you who we're on, like, if this were the main pool and the question was, what are we taking on Thursday, and there are, 18,000 entries and it's this early in the season, I don't really have a major issue saying who we took in that spot to our investors. But if we were down to the final 69, I'm not telling them who we took on Thursday because we don't know all you guys personally, and it's possible some of that information leaks out. And it matters if you know who other people take. If you remember, we're talking all the time about avoiding the chalk. Well, the chalk, by definition, isn't really the biggest favorite that you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid the team that's taken the most popular team. That's what we're talking about is the chalk, which usually is the biggest favorite, but not always. So we don't want, 1 out of 69 picks is somewhat significant, or 2 out of 69 picks can be somewhat significant. So somebody then said, well, okay, but you can just tell us if you're not taking them, right? I'm like, okay, it's kind of the same thing, right? Because if I say we're not taking them, we didn't take a Thursday game, and then one day you're like, did you take them? And I go, well, I can't say. It's the same as saying yes, right? So unfortunately, if we do take a Thursday game, we're not likely to tell you.
Yeah, we definitely want to protect your investment, our investment, and give us the best chance to get to the finish line with the least amount of people here. So,
you should also understand why this matters. And by the way, to state the obvious, this is one of the reasons, I assume primary reason, that Circa doesn't publish on Thursday.
Yeah,
just after kickoff, because they'd be locked just after kickoff. Who took the Thursday game?
Now the Westgate Super Contest does.
I know
they release that,
and it's it really can create an enormous advantage to not take the Thursday game. And if you're a pool that does that, because as just crazy hypothetical, if you saw 80% of the pool get knocked out on Thursday,
it's going to affect your pick.
It should affect who you pick. You can pick the most conservative possible pick on Sunday in advance, know you've lost 80% of the pool and pick up equity. Whereas if everybody advanced on Thursday, it might change the dynamic of who you're taking.
Yeah, I see on Twitter, people reaching out to Benson, hey, give us a hint. Who took, what's the percentage?
That would be bad if he gave hints.
Yeah. Give us a guesstimate. But, they do a good job of just, maintaining that balance of, that's their stance, that's their contest, and I actually agree with it.
Oh, for sure. Well, of course I agree. That's the reason we're not giving out our picks on Thursday. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't really looked ahead that closely, other than your obvious Thanksgiving, which is a Thursday. I don't know the probability of significant Thursday games we'd look at. We tend to try to avoid them anyway. We don't like Thursday games because you have a little bit more variance with injuries, and guys haven't gotten to rest as long. There's a lot of other reasons that I think Thursday games can put you at a little bit higher risk in terms of what you believe might happen in a game. It's just like week one. All the favorites won, but there's just more. Teams aren't as ready. They're not as prepared. They're not as banged up in week one.
Sure. I looked into this too, speaking of the Thursday stuff. By and large, a lot of these NFL players get Tuesday off. They'll do something Monday, and then they pretty much always get Tuesday off. Mm-hmm. But then those Thursday games, they're running them through regular practices on Tuesday pretty hard.
Yeah, on Sunday night or Monday morning, you got to get on a plane. Yeah. Unless you have the back-to-back home games, which, by the way, I haven't looked too. I would think that's a tremendous advantage. If you're playing on, and I don't think the NFL should do this, but I remember it came up last year. If you're playing on a Thursday, in my opinion, the home team on Thursday night should always be coming off a road game. Mm. It's just, can you imagine how big it's already a big enough advantage. Yeah, how big of an advantage it is to play at home on Thursday. You don't have that one travel day, right? If you're coming and home anyway is a big advantage. If you're going to then be in a spot where you don't have a travel day and the other team does, they're going to play Sunday and then head out on Sunday night or Monday. Mm-hmm. They'll be even Sunday night. You're exhausted. I don't know when they head out, but you can be exhausted, right? You just got banged up. You're trying to have an ice tub and get on a plane. But if you leave Monday, that's one less day you have. You have Monday, then you only have Tuesday. You got to walk through, and then you play Thursday.
Brutal.
Yeah, and as we know, week one could be a crapshoot. Obviously, with the selection, 32 teams were picked. I thought we were right in the ballpark.
That's a self-fulfilling crapshoot. You don't have to be taking New Orleans.
Sure, of course.
Yes.
We had Broncos penciled in 32 to 36%. They reached 38. Wasn't surprised by that. There wasn't a lot of warm and fuzzy landing spots, as we all have discussed last week. Cardinals, 20 to 25%. Bengals, Commanders, Jaguars, any which way, 5 to 10% in those ranges. So we felt like we found our spots, and we were in with the majority of our entries, our main entries. Cardinals, Bengals, Rams. We were trying to find spots there. Fortunately, the Bengals pulled that off, and we were able to survive with those tranche of picks. Mm-hmm. We did have a couple on the Eagles in the main pool, just because there wasn't a lot of landing spots.
Right.
That said, we got the majority of our picks through.
Yeah, we did. A vast majority. We had a couple of outliers that didn't get through. Don't worry, they were favorites. We didn't take. We didn't have New Orleans anywhere, right?
No,
I don't think so. No. So, yeah, related to Grandissimo, and you can stop me if it's too soon to get there. But I'm going to discuss how there sort of is interesting because it's the first week of Grandissimo ever, right? Yeah. So we sat there and we wrestled with what do we actually think is going to happen here? How sharp are the players in this with $100,000 buy-in? Mm-hmm. And the thing we talked about late, and I'd say I'm a little rusty, I guess is what I said to Mike on the phone. We have two, we're controlling 2 picks there, which everybody knows. We don't tell you how many picks we have in the main, but here, since we have investors, it's kind of common knowledge. And as I think was out on the Twitter handle, we had the Broncos, the Cardinals, right? And we were taking the Cardinals almost certainly in any, that was the one team we thought was the right team to take. They weren't going to be that highly taken compared to others. They have some future value, some of which has come in this week. Broncos have a ton of future value. Eagles obviously have a ton of future value. And then you're looking at the Bengals, possibly the Rams, Commanders are all teams that we contemplated taking with the other pick. And as I said to Mike, and I think we made a mistake taking the Broncos, and it wasn't just because they spit out with 50% at the end, but it's because these are correlated things, right? So in the main pool, the Broncos took 38%, about 40%. And the thing, though, is that if you only had 1 pick or 2 picks, there's a high probability one of them is on the Broncos. If you're in the main, there are a lot of people, and this is what I don't know the answer to. I'm sure it can get scraped out there. How many people have 1 pick or 2 picks versus have 10? Mm-hmm. It's harder to scrape how many may have 20 or 30 because they have partners, and sure. the names could be the same, but they may have totally different names. So if somebody has 30 picks, 40 picks, 50 picks, 100 picks, whatever number you want to pick, I'd say even 10 picks. Even 10 picks is very unlikely. Some people like to lay the wood, put them all on one team, but it's very unlikely most of the people with 10 picks are putting all 10 on the Broncos, right? So that's, even if they put 50% on the Broncos, even if they put 60% on the Broncos, it's still going to drive down the overall number because you're going to have somebody else that put 100% of the Broncos. They only have 1 pick, right? So you've got to kind of weight those together. When you're looking at Grandissimo, it's really no surprise that you had 50% of the Broncos because you probably had almost everybody with only 1 pick went that way. Right, and the people with 2 picks probably either went Broncos Eagles, Broncos Cardinals, Broncos Bengals. Right, that's what they were doing.
Broncos Rams, yeah.
Broncos Rams, right. So you end up with a spot that you're going to end up with an artificially even higher number there because you can't spread them.
Correct.
There's no way to spread the picks out. So implicitly, we're in a spot where you take the Broncos and we have one of our 2 picks, which is 50%. The field has 50.7%. Do you want them to win or do you want them to lose? I mean, I guess you want them to win because we think the value of our pick is worth more than that 0.7% equity. But it's just like we're not looking to get picks in that spot. The only part this week that was particularly difficult, it wasn't that we were afraid, to push the button on another team. It was that it was hard to really love any of the other games.
That's correct.
Usually there are spots where you might love the Broncos more, but there are other games you're like, well, this game's okay. It's not bad. But every other game we were looking at like that were games where it's like you have a gut feeling. It's not because we don't have any real data. You got the preseason, you just don't know. And I know all the favorites did win, but like Mike, nothing to do with Survivor, but just, in general, you happen to like the Rams a lot coming into the season.
I did.
Okay. And you still do, right? Mm-hmm. You also happen to like Carolina coming into the season, say they're underrated.
I did.
Right? And there's a reason I'm picking these 2 teams.
No, for
right?
sure.
So it's not like we're ever going to take Carolina in Survivor, but, of course it's easy in hindsight to go, well, the Rams were a good spot, right? But, I know you were concerned about the Commanders. They may come out a little rusty, right? And that didn't manifest, right? So, you're looking at it and it's like, would we have taken the Patriots? I don't think so. But they're another one of those teams that you're looking at, and they didn't perform,
No.
Right, at all. I mean, the disaster for them. They look terrible.
Well, they were up 10-7 at halftime, but, and now there's a lot of positive, momentum or feeling surrounding the Raiders. But as we talked, even prior to the game, how do we know which team? Like, they could be two bad teams. Maybe they're two great teams. We don't know.
Right.
And to your point, yes, I was right on the Rams, wrong on the Panthers. And so not enough data. You only get so much out of spring training or spring, and you're just.
But we did. We sat in Grandissimo, for those of you that are investors or not, but wondering. We ran all the numbers no matter what we did. We kept coming back to Arizona and Denver. We hang up the phone. I'm getting ready to put him in, and 20 minutes later, I call Mike back again. I go, "Do we really? There's got to be someone else we can take other than Denver." It's just like, and he didn't say, "Dude, we already decided." He goes, "All right, let's look again." Right. And it's like, and we wanted so badly to be able to come to another team, and we couldn't do it. And I told him even before kickoff, this is the wrong pick. And there's nothing we can do, but it's the wrong pick. And it's a real struggle. And people do that a lot where they go, well, let's just push the button and get to next week. That's not what this was.
Yeah.
It was just, it's breaking down the fact that you could legitimately end up with half the field or more on the Broncos.
And we're going to talk a little bit in the next segment about the Saturday Night Sweat and getting other contestants, other participants, getting to, get their thought process.
Yep.
And there's several people that are like, hey, the first couple of weeks, it's survive and advance. And so, I mean, we're not the end all say all, but that said,
it's winner take all.
Yes, there are so many ways that you can play this contest, and we'll get to that soon. But you're going to get a little piece of everybody's brain right about now. So in terms of last year's champions and where they landed, Nick, can you give us some feedback on how they selected their picks?
I can. So we got C3 picks. They bought 10, and they put 2 on the Commanders, 4 on the Eagles, 4 on the the Broncos. Next up, we got Dream Stakes.
And by the way, sorry, not to just reiterate the same point.
Yeah.
So they put 40% of their picks in the Broncos.
There you go.
Right? What probably should have asked them, and I wasn't there. Unfortunately, I'm going to try to make the next one. If they were in Grandissimo and had 2 picks, if they only have 1 in the Broncos, it's 50%.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
You're forced to have more. It's just very difficult to break them down. And if they only had 1 pick, my guess is it's the Broncos because they had 40%. So
totally.
that even people that are willing to diversify some, it becomes difficult. Sorry, keep going.
No, don't be sorry. All good. Next up, we got Dream Stakes. They also bought 10 picks with 1 on the Eagles, 1 on the Broncos, 2 on the Jags, 4 on the Bengals, and 4 on the Cardinals. Meatball Brothers also purchased 10 picks, 1 Jags, 1 Commanders, 1 Patriots, got clipped on that one, 2 Cardinals, 2 Bengals, 3 Broncos. Pumba Pack, same thing, 10 entries, 1 Eagles, 1 Danny Dimes, Colts, which I still can't get over that game. 1 Bears, got clipped on the Bears. 1 Cardinals, 2 Jags, 4 Broncos. Next up, we got Vodka Johnny, who exclusively uses Survivor Sweat. Thank you, Vodka Johnny. 10 picks, 1 on the Eagles, 2 Cardinals, 3 Bengals, 4 Broncos. Whatever y'all want. Did 1 Commanders, 2 Cardinals, 2 Jags, and 5 Bengals. Then Whiskey Business, 2 Steelers, 2 Cardinals, 2 Jags, 4 Broncos. And then what is this next one? What did you write, Mike? You got to explain this.
So I tried to find TY1823, and maybe they took their money and ran. They're probably under another name.
Normally, if you're out there, let us know.
Yeah, normally you use the same screen name. And
let's go backwards. Normally when you win, you play again.
That's correct.
Right, that's kind of the...
And I just could not find them on the list. So maybe, I Command F, fine. I tried everything. I looked through. I couldn't find it. So if you're out there, I hope you're back in the contest. And 2 quick points. One is, yes, they all got 10 entries. They're going to max out. But they may have a lot more entries. They may have partners.
Save at least 10.
They got at least 10. But under their screen name for champions, this is the only thing that we can track. And going back to Dream Stakes, just flipped. They had 4 Cardinals and 2 Bengals. So,
but my bad.
It's okay. But you get the gist of where they're landing. These gentlemen who found the finish line, or teams that found the finish line, they didn't go all 10 on their picks. They definitely spread them.
Right, of course.
Spread them out. And so.
And by the way, I know we've debated a number of times, and I think it's a mistake to go all 10 on your picks if you have 10. Mm-hmm. Now, you might see people, and I say this, and you might even see one of our names one day that show we have all 10 picks on one team. And the reality, though, is that's probably because we have more than 10 picks, right? And so it's going to be an illusion when you're looking at it. But I just think I understand the logic of it, but the reality is that this is the NFL. There's no sure thing. And so, it's down to, like, again, the poker example. There's a very big difference between handling with short stack and no stack.
Yeah, I remember right before episode 1, or before our very first podcast, there was one guy. It was that Thursday night game, Chiefs versus Detroit. He laid the wood on the Chiefs. Detroit upset them, and then he got in contact with us at Survivor Sweat, and he had to fly back to town. Right. So, like, that's the only thing I can think of with, like, laying the wood. You know?
But you can try to buy in again, right? But there's the other element, too. It's just you're creating – yes, when you lay the wood on one team – you can then split them out at some point, and you've got lots of other decision trees from that, right?
Sure,
and that it makes it a little bit easier in some senses. But the other side of it is when you have different teams, it forces you to take a different path at one point, by definition, because you won't have that team. So in a spot where you might have taken the Eagles, when you're down to the special week, well, you can't take the Eagles. So you might even have to take the underdog someplace. It's going to force you to do that, which sounds bad, but maybe it's good. It forced you down a path that might give you a chance to actually win. Because the reality is, we can say this, and we've said it again and again and again, if you reach the spot and you're on a special week and you have available, the 75% favorite, and you also have available that team that's 25%, and you probably do because they're probably bad. That's why they're 25%. It's easy to say if 80%, 90% of the field is going to be on the favorite to push the button on the underdog. It's mathematically, 90%. You're supposed to do it. It's hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
For sure.
If you're forced to do it. Right. If you're forced to do it, it's a totally different question. And it's not that you're totally giving away equity, because you picked up equity on the time where you use the team, right? You're just shifting it down the road someplace. And you're actually picking up more equity because it is positive equity to make that pick that's very hard to do. I only know one guy personally, his initials are MM out there, that in some of these Survivor contests has been outright willing, when he thought it was the right thing to do, to just push the button on a big dog. And he did it in the NCAA tournament and those Survivors, and he didn't have to. But he's like, well, the math is what the math is, and I'm pushing the button on, some, 9-point underdog in a basketball tournament or a football game. And it's like, it's just hard to do.
Yep, absolutely. Sure. All right, well, that's a wrap for week 1. We'll look ahead to week 2 and try to figure out where the best spots to land might be after the break.
See ya.
Couldn't have imagined that it would happen. To be here today and collect this check. This is amazing.
Do you have what it takes to win the biggest football handicapping contest in Las Vegas? If you live out of state but want to enter either the Circa Sports Millions or the Circa Survivor contest, you've come to the right place.
But do you not live in Las Vegas? There's a solution with Survivor Sweat. Place from anywhere in any of the biggest sports contests. Fly to Las Vegas and schedule an appointment to get signed up. Can't make it to Vegas? Just buy an entry form from the marketplace. Either way, submit your picks each week into the contest using Survivor Sweat Proxy.
Kudos to Circa, Survivor Sweat, and everybody else. Once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thank you.
With over $20 million in guaranteed prizes, you can sweat small, win big. Visit SurvivorSweat.com or call for more information.
All right, we are back to look at some landing spots, win rates, and popularities here. I mean, Baltimore, biggest favorite in week 2. What could go wrong?
They could lose.
Oh, yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Who did they play in week 2 last year? Do you remember?
The Raiders.
Weren't they the biggest favorite?
Oh, yeah.
What could go wrong?
I think they were up 10 in the fourth quarter, and the Raiders just stunned them last year.
Where were they playing?
Baltimore.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was over 500 entries clipped on that one last year.
Yes. Yeah. And after the Bengals went down last year in week 1, then the Ravens went down. That's when Derek started offering all the free packages, the free weekends to come back.
And that's everybody saying, is this contest going to be over in 5 weeks?
Exactly. Yeah. So you got Baltimore as the big favorite at home versus Cleveland. I know some people get a little heebie-jeebie with the old, in-division play. I mean, Baltimore, what a game that was.
That was
on
unbelievable.
Sunday night.
Totally.
I mean, incredible. And they literally have that game circled. They got to go in there. They got to get it done. They got to.
Well, I think you said it. And I agreed with you. I'm pretty sure it was you said it, that we were watching the game at a friend's house, and at the end when Buffalo goes for 2, and they, not the end, but near the end, right? And they don't convert. And you said, before I said it, I think if they convert, Baltimore just wins the game.
Yes.
Right. You know, because they're going to come down the field because there's reason to, right? And if they don't convert, they're going to knit up. They're going to do your classic run into the line of scrimmage 3 times and punt. And then, you know, it's not a guarantee that, you know, Buffalo's going to win, but at that point, you're giving them a shot. I would rather, you know, this is the old adage, and I guess the math of it says you'd rather have the lead, but it's like in basketball, would you, you know, you're coming down to the buzzer in like, you know, 8 seconds, whatever it is. Would you rather be up by 1 and not have the ball, or would you rather have the ball?
Yeah.
Right. And you got to make the shot and you win the game. The other team's not going to get another shot at it.
Yeah.
Right?
It feels like you want the lead, but they weren't going to stop Josh Allen. I knew the minute they got the ball back. In fact, when Baltimore got so conservative on offense, and I was just like, this is it. This is over.
Correct.
You know, it's just how it plays out.
Right.
Another gut wrencher.
Right. And it's no sure thing, but it's like it felt like at that point Buffalo's a favorite to win the game. And it's interesting because also it's related. It's not universal, right? So let's say that the score of that game is, you know, 13-12 or something. Well, there is no guarantee this other guy gets the ball and comes back and wins. Even though they're going to go for it on 4th down, there's going to be more likely they can get in range, all that stuff. But when you're dealing with a 41-40 game or something, there's a very high probability whoever has the ball is going to score.
The year Belichick went for it on 4th down in his own territory because he didn't want to get the ball.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he didn't want to. He knew if they got the ball back,
they're going to score.
Done.
Right. Exactly. And so it's similar here, but it's funny because I don't know. I mean, obviously, Harbaugh's job should be pretty darn safe at this point. You'd think. I mean, he should be a Hall of Fame coach. We can have that whole discussion another time, but. He has to know this too, and yet it's just this whole, like when Belichick did that, everybody's like in uproar, like he's crazy, whatever. You know, Harbaugh probably knows this, but if he goes out there and, you know, throws the ball a couple times, lets Lamar open it up, and they're just incomplete passes, and now you're handing the ball back to Josh Allen with, you know, 2 minutes and 40 seconds and 2 timeouts, whatever, he's going to look even dumber.
Sure.
But the reality is that's how you win games. Right, you know, running into the line of scrimmage a couple times, then punting is not how you win games in the NFL. If you're going to give it back to a guy that had already scored 38 points or something, right?
Yeah. So speaking of Buffalo, they line up as the second biggest favorite, or tied for the second.
Well, look, also as you said, as we're watching that game, you know, we're watching the Super Bowl now. Other than the fact they're in the same conference, like we get that, but these probably are the 2 best teams of football, and you kept challenging. Okay, well. If not these 2, give me one that's better. Give me one that's better. And I go, well, I don't know. They're probably not better. The Chiefs keep winning. But, I mean, I can't actually tell you that they're better. I can't. I mean, these 2 teams, I think they're both better than the Eagles now, too. So you got the Buffalo Bills at the Jets. Jets look much improved offensively. Wait, they didn't get worse? You sure? They weren't going to get worse than last year? Maybe defensively. They could get, like, relegated? Hey, Justin Fields actually surprised some people.
He looked comfortable.
Pittsburgh was supposed to have a generational defense, and wow.
And they got a quarterback from a whole nother generation.
And from the Jets.
I got that.
You know, Buffalo's right in there. After them, you got the Cardinals, who got it done against the Saints. Wasn't too impressive. Came down to the end there.
Didn't you say Kyler Murray woke up with like flu or something? Stomach bug
you wake up in the morning, you check Twitter. Next thing you know, all the publications, he's got a stomach bug of some kind, some sort, but he's going to give it a go. He looked okay at times.
And by the way, there's nothing you can do if someone wakes up on Sunday morning like that. Your picks are long in already, but I am going to say this.
Can't change
This
your
is
picks.
one of the reasons, though, that there is value in using a proxy service, because you might want to put your pick on Friday night on the proxy service, and then on Saturday morning you can change your mind. If he had woken up on Saturday morning with a bug, maybe you get off that game.
Yeah.
Right. So
then you got Rams at Tennessee. Tennessee gave a little fight there to the old Broncos. Broncos look pretty bad. But those are your 4 teams with 70+% win rate. You got Rams at 70%, Arizona at 73%, Buffalo 74%, and Baltimore all the way climbing up to 87%.
Yep.
So those are the 4 soft landing spots, if you can call it that. Underneath there, you got Minnesota at home versus Atlanta. J.J. McCarthy looked pretty good in the second half. First half, he looked like he was overwhelmed, that the game was a little fast for him. Dallas at home versus the Giants, and that percentage keeps bouncing back and forth from 66, 68, 70%.
Do you think that's going to be very similar to like the Baltimore-Buffalo game in terms of, quality of play?
I think not.
No? They're not the two Super Bowl teams on the,
I think not.
On the other side?
Well, let's just hope CeeDee Lamb, can haul a few balls in. Jeez. And then you got the Niners. The Niners are at the Saints, and the Niners are beat up. So now Kittle's out, IR, minimum of 4, looking to...
Don't you have him in our fantasy league?
We have him in fantasy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was hoping that was the one.
He looked pretty good for the first couple drives.
That was the free league you had with your son or something.
Oh my gosh, the first couple drives, I'm like, oh man, I hit this guy because I knew he was going to be a big part of their offense. He always is, but just with the the uncertainty, the wide receivers, Pearsall looked pretty dang good too, but Kittle just was absolutely lights out in the first quarter. But you would think, San Francisco at New Orleans. I think Brock Purdy's going to play. I know he's battling an AC joint in the shoulder, and he's got a toe. But the early word is that he'll be ready there. But the Niners just year after year just look nicked up.
I know.
And so
they've been banging for like 3 years.
Maybe that's a spot that you can get comfortable with. Niners at the Saints. Detroit bounce back maybe at home against Chicago if you're a believer there. Not sure. Man, revenge game there. You got the old offensive coordinator versus, he's
coming back to play his old team.
Coming back there.
I never know how much that really matters. I mean, I think it matters to the extent that, he probably has some good idea as to what they might do in certain spots. But the same token, Detroit probably has some idea of what kinds of play calls he's going to want to make because he's not going to change his entire system.
And then there's some teams I'm going to name down the list that I think there will be some percentages on it. You got Green Bay at home versus Washington. Green Bay obviously looked super impressive. Now they're at home on a Thursday night game. Here comes the Commanders on a short week. You got the Chargers, who looked amazing. They got extra rest at home against Vegas, and they got extended extra rest because the game's on Monday Night Football.
Right.
Pittsburgh, Seattle, Cincinnati, Jacksonville.
And they're also probably the better team.
They're probably the better team. So, I mean, there are some spots. I'm not sure how warm and fuzzy you get in some of those spots.
Well, look, I'm going to boil this down a little bit more simply here if you have the stones for it. So, at an initial glance, it looks like Baltimore probably is going to be the most popular team taken. And then they're going to be followed, maybe in the 30%-ish range, like pretty significant. Dallas looks like it could be in the mid-teens. Arizona looks like it could be in the mid-teens. After that, everybody's single digits. And the Rams are 8% maybe, and then you're dropping down to 3, 4, 5. Like, so if you make it past Baltimore, Arizona, Dallas, anything else should not be a very popular pick. If you can stomach some picks that are outside of those three, and I don't know where we're going to land yet, but and we may land at some in those top three, but if you can get out of those top three, you should get a lot of value. On almost any team that isn't one of those three, you should get tremendous value.
And you Circa Survivor players, which we all are.
Well, if you're not, you should head over to Survivor Sweat.
That's right. You're always looking ahead at Christmas and Thanksgiving and those special dates. And it's interesting to see because before the season begins, you're trying to map things out. You're looking ahead. You're saving teams. Right. But every week the NFL just turns over, and now you're looking and you're like, okay, well, Ravens, are you going to save them? Ravens at home versus the Bengals. That should be a tough game. Are you warm and fuzzy with the Lions anymore? With the Packers coming in there, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bears, Eagles, looking ahead. Yep. It just goes down the line. And to some degree, people are like, I don't think about that until I have to.
Yeah, you kind of have to when you hand them $1,000.
Yeah, because you have to play one of those games, one of those teams, if you're fortunate enough to get there.
You think the contest will be over before Thanksgiving? No chance.
No. And there's a chance where if, like you said, if people get really comfortable with Baltimore, Buffalo, Arizona this week, I mean, if the chalk prevails, we just all advance.
Right.
But to your point, are we looking for spots? What are we doing?
It's the same thing. The contest is called Survivor, but surviving is meaningless. It's like anything else, you need other people to get knocked out.
Yep. And if you don't survive, head over to Survivor Sweat.
Exactly.
I jumped
Even if you do survive, you can buy another.
Yeah, I jumped on the marketplace. Nick, what's the marketplace doing over there?
The marketplace.
I do see one Grandissimo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What are they asking?
They're asking $8,890 for 5% of a Grandissimo entry. So that is a lot. Yeah, their implied value.
So roughly multiply it times about 20.
Yeah.
Right, 5%. So I'm going to call it 9,000. That's 180,000. Is that right? A little less, 170,000 or something like that. Is that right or not? Am I doing the math wrong?
But this is
kind of hoping
one entry, right?
Right. No, I understand that. Yeah. Right. So almost twice face. Well, I hope they get it.
Yeah, exactly. And then
I'm sorry, I should have said I hope we get it. Just kidding.
And then what else we got on there?
The current implied value is $1,031. So if you want to sell your pick, you can make $31.
Well, no, but that's face. You could sell it for $1,050 and make even more. You can if someone wants to pay more than the implicit value.
Yeah, that's what James was talking about. Premiums, right? Premiums.
Yep. There's a package of 5 over there for 10%, $2,500. So yeah, check it out and see what you got. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Survivor entries with the package.
Cool. And I actually think buying packages are good. I think it's just better. I mean, because I think having a package is better, so I think buying a package would be better too.
Yeah.
Yep, one-stop marketplace over there. And we have articles, tutorials, other things that you can all Circa Survivor
So tell me about Saturday night. What's up?
Yeah, what's the Saturday Night Sweat? How did that go, Nick?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, we appreciate all you guys tuning in. It was great viewership. I had a blast. I think everybody else did too. But looking ahead for this Saturday, I got a lineup of guests I want to tell you guys about. So we're going to kick the show off with myself, Mr. Mike Buchmiller here, and then we are going to have professional poker player David Baker on, and kind of our content partner Tony Farmer from Last Men Pod. So that's how we're going to start it off. Next guest is some guy named Russ Rosenblum. I don't know.
Never heard
who that guy is. Yeah, Russ is going to jump on with us, and then so is Rachel Arie, like last week. If you haven't seen what she was saying on our last show, you can find it on this Twitter account. Go watch it. It was really funny.
Preferably you look at her and not me. That's much more likely to tune in to the pod.
Hey, firm. This next one I'm really excited about just because I'm a huge fan of Follow the Money on VSiN. You guys should really watch that show and take some notes. But Paulie Howard is going to join us on Saturday. It's going to be really cool. James is going to jump in and do another marketplace analysis from Survivor Sweat. And then, there will be maybe a couple more guests in there. We'll freeform it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I had a blast. Yeah, cool. It was great. Just a really good forum, kind of a quad box, if you will. But it was really good to pick the brain of other participants in the contest and discuss different paths, game theory. Mm-hmm. And it was just a fun, free-flowing conversation. And it was such a great opportunity to see the reveal show on VSiN and then to get a live reaction from it and get those numbers in real time and digest of where our picks were landing as against the public, and just to see if we were in the ballpark and those different things. I mentioned last year we kind of had an issue week 6 on trying to figure out where the public was going to land. They were up, they were down. It was I thought, you thought, I thought, and it was some really good game theory. And to get those brains all together and have a discussion, it was fantastic. Yeah. Mark Goldberg was on last week. Spooky. He had
great guy.
Man, he had some really good takes. And Tony Farmer is amazing. He's great. Talk about somebody who has passion for the contest. And man, I couldn't wait to jump back on it. And we're on a little Twitter thread in our texting all week about some of the individuals that are going to be on it, and I'm excited to have you on it too.
It'll be awesome. Fun, and you're right. I mean, it's the game theory of it, and it's a lot of fun because this isn't like chess, which is incredibly challenging but theoretically solvable. This really, there's so many variables here that, you can have the best strategy in the world, but it's inevitably going to be based on what other people do. Mm-hmm. Like if you're wrong about what other people take, then your strategy, no matter how sound it may seem, is useless. It's no good. Like if literally you had of the 69 Grandissimos, if you had 68 on Denver, then there's no way you should be on Denver. But if it turns out every single person thought that and you had nobody on Denver, then of course you're supposed to be on Denver. And I know that sounds incredibly obvious, but this is where like you can do all the work in the world, but everybody else is doing all the work too. Part of your work is getting in their heads. And when it's different. For me, it's more fun when we're down to like 15 or 20 and you're really trying to get in very specific heads and you go back and look at other teams they've taken in other specific spots. It's impossible with, 18,000 entries and no data with 1 week, right? But it's still different. You still need to do it. You still need to do the work. It's just harder. Yeah,
and to try to analyze how the main poll would be in relation to Grandissimo, we figured we had a pretty good idea. But, there's always some surprises. And until it's revealed, who knows?
We just didn't know how many would peel off from Denver.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was pretty much kind of where I thought it was going to end up. It just is what it is. It's because I don't know. I think we heard of somebody that might have had 3 entries in Grandissimo or something. And like they had a partner or whatever. I don't know how many people have control more than 2. I just don't know how many there are out there.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody have 5? I don't think anybody has 10. But like, I just don't know.
But the great thing is, the Saturday Night Sweat, along with our pod, along with Tony Farmer's pod, Pool Genius's pod, the great thing, and I mentioned this on our forum, was we've helped build this community. And there's a reason why that these entries just continue to go through the roof. And again, when we were making our run in 2022, we were looking for platforms, looking for Twitter, everywhere. There was just nothing, not a lot of content. I think there was just one small segment on Vissen. And, the whole gist of doing this was to create that community so that we can all, celebrate this contest, enjoy it, have fun. And people just can't get enough. I believe on the stream, there's been almost 7,000 views now. And live, I think we were pushing close to 1,000 that we're tracking on it. Yep. And people just can't get enough of this contest. And I love discussing it. More the merrier. Please pop on if you have questions during it. Nick, how can people view this?
So it's going to be here on this YouTube channel and this X account. So it's Survivor Sweat Pod, obviously, for YouTube. Here on X is just at Survivor Sweat. We were discussing it this last week. I think we're going to pretty much stick with going live at 6:45. So that's when you guys can, check your phones or go on desktop or whatever. Like Mike said, there's a live chat between Twitter and YouTube. So please, if you have any questions, we will get to it realistically in real time right away. And I think that's it. I think that's it I thought I had something else, but I don't. Yeah. Just,
all right. Yeah.
Just tune in and ask questions.
So for those of you that are riding with us, make sure you check the Survivor Sweat Twitter thread at 4:00. You'll find out exactly where we land in Grandissimo. And then after the Vissen reveal show, pop on and we'll go through our findings of where everybody lands. And throughout the week, hit us up at Mike Buchmiller, at Rosenblum R, or at Survivor Sweat. I answer questions throughout the week. People DM me. I love talking the contest, getting to know people. And hope you tune in. It'd be great.
By the way, too early to hedge. Don't hedge.
That is some great advice. Fantastic. Tune in Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. For quality advice like that.
All right, that's a wrap for week 2. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to get your picks in.
That should be your T-shirt. Get your picks in. You'll walk down the street and they'll be like, I don't even know what that means. Supposed to be.
Exactly.
Who's that guy?
And fade the chalk.
Fade the chalk.
All right. Later. See you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Looking for Survivor strategy articles? Did you lose your last entry on a Survivor contest and wish you could rebuy? Check out our marketplace and you may find what you need. Head over to survivorsweat.com for all things Survivor. And we'll see you next week for the next Survivor Sweat podcast.